3911.
3911.
Be out with a 13. Apparently he was out in the middle of traffic, trying to stop cars in the middle of 301. Forward plates Charlie, Foxtrot Sierra, Zulu 80, CFS Z80. Be a silver Toyota Sequoia.
10-4.
3905, be 1051.
It's got the goddamn light on. I'm gonna put it in reverse.
Now put your hands behind your back right now. 39.5 B, 51 taser deployed.
Yes,
3911 B, 39.5 B, 1051 taser deployed. Don't move. You alright? You alright?
Yes, sir.
Anarchy in America, Shot Down Like Dogs in the Street. By John W. Whitehead. July 31, 2017. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dim tide is loosed, and everywhere. The ceremony of innocence is drowned. William Butler Yeats, The Second Coming. Things are falling apart. How much longer we can sustain the fiction that we live in a constitutional republic, I cannot say, but anarchy is being loosed upon the nation. We are witnessing the unraveling of the American dream one injustice at a time. Day after day, the government's crimes against the citizenry grow more egregious, more treacherous, and more tragic. And day after day, the American people wake up a little more to the grim realization that they have become captives in a prison of their own making. No longer a free people, we are now pushed and prodded and watched over by twitchy, hypersensitive, easily spooked armed guards who care little for the rights, humanity, or well-being of those in their care. The death toll is mounting. The carnage is heartbreaking. The public's faith in the government to do its job, which is to protect our freedoms, is deteriorating. With alarming regularity, unarmed men, women, children, and even pets are being gunned down by police who shoot first and ask questions later, and all the government does is shrug and promise to do better. Things are not getting better. Justine Damond is dead. The 40-year-old yoga instructor was shot and killed by Minneapolis police, allegedly because they were startled by a loud noise in the vicinity just as she approached their patrol car. Damond, clad in pajamas, had called 911 to report a possible assault in her neighborhood. Ismael Lopez is dead. The 41-year-old auto mechanic was shot and killed by Mississippi police who went to the wrong address looking for a suspect in connection with an aggravated domestic violence case. Police also shot the man's dog, which had raced out of the house ahead of him. Mary Knowlton is dead. The 73-year-old retired librarian was shot and killed by Florida police during a shoot-slash-don't-shoot role-playing scenario when police inadvertently used a loaded gun intended for training. Sam Dubose is dead. The unarmed 43-year-old rapper was shot in the head and killed by a University of Cincinnati police officer during a traffic stop over a missing front license plate. Andrew Scott is dead. Although the 26-year-old homeowner had committed no crime and never fired a single bullet or lifted his firearm against police, he was gunned down by Florida police who were investigating a speeding incident by engaging in a middle-of-the-night knock and talk in Scott's apartment complex. Richard Ferretti is dead. The 52-year-old chef was shot and killed by Philadelphia police while trying to find a parking spot. Police had been alerted to investigate a purple Dodge Caravan that was driving suspiciously through the neighborhood. Fritz Sevier is dead. The 46-year-old homeless man was shot 5 times and killed by Miami police in front of more than 50 school children attending a nearby summer camp merely because he was seen holding a metal pipe. Jordan Edwards is dead. The 15-year-old high school freshman was sitting in the passenger seat of a car driving away from a house party when Dallas police, claiming to have heard gunshots, smashed in the window of the moving car and shot the teenager in the head. Edwards' 2 brothers, also in the car, watched him die. No weapons were found. Charlena Lyles is dead. The pregnant, 30-year-old mother of 4 had called the police to report a stolen Xbox video game unit. She was shot and killed by Seattle police after they arrived at her home to find her holding a knife. In every one of these scenarios, police could have resorted to less lethal tactics. They could have acted with reason and calculation instead of reacting with a killer instinct. They could have attempted to de-escalate and defuse whatever perceived threat caused them to fear for their lives enough to react with lethal force. That police instead chose to fatally resolve these encounters by using their guns on fellow citizens speaks volumes about what is wrong with policing in America today, where police officers are being dressed in the trappings of war, drilled in the deadly art of combat, and trained to look upon every individual they interact with as an armed threat and every situation as a deadly force encounter in the making. Remember, to a hammer, all the world looks like a nail. We're not just getting hammered, however. We're getting killed, execution style. It no longer matters whether you're innocent of any wrongdoing or guilty as sin, when you're dealing with police who shoot first and ask questions later. Due process, the constitutional assurance of a fair trial before an impartial jury, means nothing. All the individuals who have been shot and killed by police fired at 3 and 4 and 5 times in a split second have already been tried, found guilty and sentenced to death. And in that split second of deciding whether to shoot and where to aim, the nation's police officers have appointed themselves judge, jury and executioner over their fellow citizens. In this way, we're seen as nothing more than animals and treated as such. In fact, we're being gunned down like dogs. Consider that a dog is shot by a police officer every 98 minutes. The Department of Justice estimates that at least 25 dogs are killed by police every day. Spike, a 70-pound pit bull, was shot by NYPD police when they encountered him in the hallway of an apartment building in the Bronx. Surveillance footage shows the dog, tail wagging, right before an officer shot him in the head at point-blank range. Arzi, a 14-month-old Newfoundland, Labrador, and Golden Retriever mix, was shot between the eyes by a Louisiana police officer. The dog had been secured on a 4-foot leash at the time he was shot. An independent witness testified that the dog never gave the officer any provocation to shoot him. 7. A Saint Bernard, was shot repeatedly by Connecticut police in the presence of the dog's 12-year-old owner. Police, investigating an erroneous tip, had entered the property without a warrant where the dog and her owner had been playing in the backyard, causing the dog to give chase. Duchess, a 2-year-old rescue dog, was shot 3 times in the head by Florida police as she ran out her front door. The officer had been approaching the house to inform the residents that their car door was open when the dog bounded out to greet him. Yana, a 10-year-old boxer, was shot 3 times by Georgia police after they mistakenly entered the wrong home and opened fire, killing the dog, shooting the homeowner in the leg and wounding an investigating officer. Here's the point: when you train police to shoot first and ask questions later, whether it's a family pet, a child with a toy gun, or an old man with a cane, they're going to shoot to kill. This is the fallout from teaching police to assume the worst-case scenario and react with fear to anything that poses the slightest threat, imagined or real. This is what comes from teaching police to view themselves as soldiers on a battlefield and those they're supposed to serve as enemy combatants. This is the end result of a lopsided criminal justice system that fails to hold the government and its agents accountable for misconduct. Whether you're talking about police shooting dogs or citizens, the mindset is the same: a rush to violence, abuse of power, fear for officer safety, poor training in how to de-escalate a situation, and general carelessness. This is the same mindset that sees nothing wrong with American citizens being subjected to roadside strip searches, forcible blood draws, invasive surveillance, secret government experiments, and other morally reprehensible tactics. Unfortunately, this is a mindset that is flourishing within the corporate-controlled, military-driven American police state. So what's to be done about all of this? Essentially, it comes down to training and accountability. It's the difference between police officers who rank their personal safety above everyone else's and police officers who understand that their jobs are to serve and protect. It's the difference between police who are trained to shoot to kill and police trained to resolve situations peacefully. Most of all, it's the difference between police who believe the law is on their side and police who know that they will be held to account for their actions under the same law as everyone else. Unfortunately, more and more police are being trained to view themselves as distinct from the citizenry, to view their authority as superior to the citizenry, and to view their lives as more precious than those of their citizen counterparts. Instead of being taught to see themselves as mediators and peacemakers whose lethal weapons are to be used as a last resort, they are being drilled into acting like gunmen with killer instincts who shoot to kill rather than merely incapacitate. As a result, we're approaching a breaking point. This policing crisis is far more immediate and concerning than the government's so-called war on terror or drugs. This is no longer a debate over good cops and bad cops. It's a tug-of-war between the constitutional republic America's founders intended and the police state we are fast becoming. So how do we fix what's broken, stop the senseless shootings and bring about lasting reform? For starters, stop with the scare tactics. In much the same way that American citizens are being cocooned in a climate of fear by a government that knows exactly which buttons to push in order to gain the public's cooperation and compliance, police officers are also being indoctrinated with the psychology of fear. Despite the propaganda being peddled by the government and police unions, police today experience less on-the-job fatalities than they ever have historically. Second, level the playing field. Police lives are no more valuable than any other citizens. Whether or not they wield a gun, police officers are public servants like all other government officials, which means that they work for us. While police are entitled to every protection afforded under the law, the same as any other citizen, they should not be afforded any special privileges. They certainly should not be shielded from accountability for misconduct by the courts and the legislatures. Third, require that police officers be trained in non-lethal tactics. According to the New York Times, the training regimens at nearly all of the nation's police academies continue to emphasize military-style exercises, with the average young officer made to undergo 58 hours of firearms training and 49 hours of defensive tactical training, but only 8 hours of de-escalation training. If police officers are taking classes in how to shoot, maim, and kill, shouldn't they also be trained in non-lethal force, crisis intervention training on how to deal with the mentally ill, de-escalation techniques to use the lowest level of force possible when responding to a threat, and how to respect their fellow citizens' constitutional rights? Fourth, ditch the quasi-military obsession. Police forces were never intended to be standing armies. Yet with police agencies dressing like the military in camouflage and armor, training with the military, using military weapons, riding around in armored vehicles, recruiting military veterans, and even boasting military titles, one would be hard-pressed to distinguish between the two. Still, it's our job to make sure that we can distinguish between the two, and that means keeping the police in their place as civilians, non-military citizens who are entrusted with protecting our rights. Fifth, demilitarize. There are many examples of countries where police are not armed and dangerous, and they are no worse off for it. Indeed, their crime rates are low and their police officers are trained to view every citizen as precious. Sixth, stop making taxpayers pay for police abuses. Some communities are trying to require police to carry their own professional liability insurance. The logic is that if police had to pay out of pocket for their own wrongdoing, they might be more cautious and less inclined to shoot first and ask questions later. Seventh, support due process for everyone, not just the people in your circle. Remember that you no longer have to be poor, black, or guilty to be treated like a criminal in America. All that is required is that you belong to the suspect class A.K.A, the citizenry of the American police state. As a de facto member of this so-called criminal class, every U.S. citizen is now guilty until proven innocent. You could be the next person who gets shot by a police officer for moving the wrong way during a traffic stop, running the wrong way in the vicinity of a police officer, or defending yourself against a home invasion when the police show up at the wrong address in the middle of the night. People have been wrongfully shot and killed for these exact reasons. Yet, as I point out in my book Battlefield America, the War on the American People, there can be no justice in America when Americans are being killed, detained, and robbed at gunpoint by government officials on the mere suspicion of wrongdoing. Unfortunately, Americans have been so propagandized, politicized, and polarized that many feel compelled to choose sides between defending the police at all costs or painting them as dangerously out of control. Nothing is ever that black and white, but there are a few things that we can be sure of. America should not be a battlefield. Police officers are not soldiers. And we the people, are not the enemy. W.C. 2279. About John W. Whitehead. Constitutional attorney and author John W. Whitehead is founder and president of the Rutherford Institute. His new book Battlefield America, The War on the American People, Select Books, 2015, is available online at www.amazon.com. Whitehead can be contacted at johnw@rutherford.org.
Hey Sheriff, we have a question about why your office, your intelligence division, is investigating private citizens for criminal investigation that happen to be activists that are overseeing your department. Why would you have your intelligence division investigate private citizens? We have done...
For life hating so much.
Sir, we don't hate anyone. We love freedom and we love American people. And government is out of control. That's why you're seeing such a revolt nationwide. Why can't you just answer, why is Susan Edwards, your intelligence division, investigating private citizens? This should not happen.
Are you here to apply for a job?
Possibly I might be applying for a job, but that's irrelevant to my question. Why would you ask that question?
Well, enjoy the fair.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Excuse you?
Excuse me, sir.
So those of you that haven't
Wow.
been on a bike before, we're
Sheriff's
just
getting a little too pushy.
is
You
the
work
hard
for
part
us, Sheriff.
in
Just
keeping
keep that in
up.
mind. At one time we respected you, but not with that type of attitude.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I found that I had to make a change this ending on my videos, letting you know about the channel and fair use laws, you know, how we can report on other people's reporting and how it's good, how it's bad, etc. But you guys can look it up yourself. It is legal. It's in there. But like I've told you before, that I've been cut off from making money on YouTube for 4 years. It's really weird, bizarre, but they cut the money off, but they said you can keep the channel, and now YouTube makes all the money. And if you get bored, plug it into Social Blade website, and you'll see that they are making a huge amount off the site. Right now it's at 63 million views, 53,000 subscribers, almost 3 million views a month. You know, trying to wake people up, and I make nothing. In fact, I got a customer that's ex-congressman. He said if I could ever find a lawyer, sue YouTube on it. But because this is nuts. 4 hours a day, and to save America. You know, but at the same time, it's worth it. Look at what our founding fathers did. They died for this country. So, but getting back to the money part, this is why I'm redoing the video. Is my dream of everyone giving $1, and it's going to be $53,000 a year, or if they did Patreon, which you know, can be monthly. That is not working. That'd be great if it did. Nothing is perfect. And I appreciate the people that do donate, you know, what they can on PayPal. And there again, I'm letting you guys know that is not much. Is, you know, monthly is, oh my god. So anyways, yes, you cannot live on it. It's very, very, very low amount. But the dollar things, I do appreciate that. But when I first said everybody give $1, that's not working. I'm just letting you guys know it's, yeah, that dream. Everybody gives $1. 53,000 subscribers, it's not working. So, yes, if you can give more than that, you know, I appreciate it. Like I said, you know, I'm in a unique situation where, you know, we're already debt free, and I'm not rich, but with the little business that we have, I am able to do what I am able to do 45 hours a day, you know, letting you guys know what's going on. In 4 years, I've did the whole thing myself. 12,000 videos on there. I literally get emails where people are like, holy crap, I never knew it was this bad. And it is this bad, and it's getting worse every day because we have the internet, we have cell phones, we have cameras everywhere now, and it's just disgusting what's going on. And then, as you guys know too, now we got Trump, we got Jeff Sessions doing a war on drugs, and now he wants to go after the forfeiture laws again. It's just unfreaking real. So if you can give more than that dream of everybody giving $1, yeah, that old video, that's not working. They're not. They're just not. So anyways, if you can give more than that dream is not working. Hardly anybody is giving. There you go. So that's why I'm remaking the video. If you can give more than that would be great. And there again, like I said, the Patreon's there. There is some people on there that are starting to give, but there again, it's very, very low. And like I said, I don't want to get rich off of that. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because, you know, it's still so stinking corrupt. It's not even funny. My court case that I'm going to be paying out of my pocket myself with Charlotte County's coming up. They illegally looked me up and then posted all my information on LEOAFFAIRS website. They basically doxed me, however you want to say that. I forget what the word is, and they outed me, man. And that information on that site went out to 500 sheriffs, deputies, people that work at the jail, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah, it is very, very scary, but we're going to do a federal case, 1983 case, violating freedom of speech. We have 17 cameras in the house now. We got 2 cameras in the car. I always carry a camera plus a cell phone. A lot of people are highly recommending I get a vest now. If I could, if the wife would let me, I would run for sheriff. We are trying to push the thing nationwide right now, where just to mix it up and to get the topics out there is register to run for sheriff, NPA, no party affiliation, as a write-in, and that is completely free, and you can participate in the elections. And there's a lot of stuff. We got a guy, James McLinnis in Pinellas County, Tampa, who almost won. He experienced the corruption himself. The story is unbelievable. Look him up. It's mind-blowing what they did. It pissed him off. He is very, very smart. He has way more money than I did. He ran for sheriff at the last 3 months last year in 2016 and almost won. He got all of the black vote. And the reason why he did that is because he ran in, I will not bust, we're in Florida, I will not bust anybody for weed anymore unless it's an ungodly huge amount, like pounds. And then he also ran in no more victimless crimes, no more of this freaking road pirate bull crap. And then he was going to cut the budget by 30%. And when you think about that, you can. If you stop the road pirates, you can get rid of a bunch of people. Gone. So, the wife has been saying, yes, I can, yes, I can't. So I don't know. We're trying to find somebody that can do it because I am busy doing this anyways. But, so I'm making a video, like I said, that $1 a month from everybody, you know, for 53,000 subscribers, that is not working. I'm just letting you guys know. Absolutely give way more than $1 a month. If you can, I appreciate anything. By the way, remember too, when you give that, PayPal takes like freaking 15 to 20%, so it's even worse than that. But, and there again, like I'm letting you guys know, it's way, what I get is very, very low. Appreciate it, but it is very, very low. Can't live on it. I'm just, you know, I'm working, and that's what I'm working on. And that court case is going to cost a buttload of money. That's federal court. Just the filing fees and the depositions that we're going to be doing with this corrupt cop. So there's another reason to give. We are going to be doing a deposition with this very corrupt. He was in a drug squad. He is a bad guy. He's on steroids. We heard steroids are rampant here. That's why their attitude is so bad. And we are going to get him on video, and it will be on YouTube. So that case alone is $5,000 just to bring it to court, and that's my money out of my pocket. So there's another reason to give, and give way more than $1 if you can. So keep that in mind. This is the new video, and I see, God, I talk a lot. It's already 7 minutes, but had to make it just to let you know that $1 a month from everybody is not working. They're not doing it. So if you can give more than that, please. So thanks. Keep it up. Share, like, subscribe, tell your friends, send me your videos on corruption, and I'll post it.